Hey, this is Steampunk Stars and AmberStreet.com. This is an Avengers Age of Ultron movie review. I have to honestly say that I am disappointed in this film. It's not to say that I hated it or even disliked it. I actually liked it. It just wasn't great. It was good. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. It was just good. It was okay. It wasn't great. Um, Joss Whedon scripted the film and he also directed the film, but I almost sensed that he had external pressure not to be too uh, gritty or too dark. You know, to keep it light, keep it a popcorn action film, which is what he does here. You know, he's got, he can only do so much, I guess, under the toolage of Disney, um, which sadly owns Marvel. But there was good things about the film too, and like I said, I actually think it's a good film. It's just not as good as Avengers 1. It's definitely better than Iron Man 3. It's not as good as the first Iron Man film. It's definitely better than Captain America 1 and 2, and it's definitely better than the first Thor movie. Haven't seen Thor: The Dark World yet. I avoided it because I didn't really care for the first Thor movie. But it is a good film overall. Um, there's gonna be a bunch of spoilers here, so be forewarned. If you don't want to listen to spoilers, if you haven't seen the film, please leave the video now. Um, yeah, the one thing I was disappointed with was the how Robert Downey Jr. Like in Iron Man 3, I guess he's got his contract. He needs so much face time. He's hardly ever in the Iron Man suit. Only occasionally do you see him in the Iron Man suit. Um, and it seemed very contrived at the beginning of the film. He's in a combat zone. He immediately leaves his suit and puts it in sentry mode, and then, of course, gets attacked by Scarlet Witch, and she alters his mind, which leads to the creation of Ultron. Um, Another thing I didn't like is I found the facial expression on Ultron's, like Ultron #1, the top Ultron. There was numerous Ultrons. There was a whole army of Ultrons. I found the facial expression to be kind of goofy, the handling of the character to be kind of goofy. It's voiced by James Spader, but he did a fairly good job. It was okay, but he could only um, work with what script he's given. I was disappointed that Joss Whedon kind of had a weak handling of the character Ultron. Because in the comic books, Ultron's this badass evil villain. You know, you fear him, and I didn't really get that sense out of Ultron. He seemed to be a sarcastic, almost comical character, goofy character. And another thing I didn't like was at the end of the film, no after credits teaser trailer or teaser scene. That was entirely a Marvel thing. I don't understand why they didn't do it. There is a teaser midway through the credits, so you do want to watch midway through the credits, but there's no enticement to stay to the end of the credits because there's no after the movie teaser, which I was entirely disappointed they broke away from that. You see Thanos at the end getting the Infinity Gauntlet, which is going to lead up to the next Guardians of the Galaxy, next Avengers film, which is rumored that they're going to have a tie-in with Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers, which could be very cool. And the pacing of the film bothered me a bit. There was too much of a rush with very little to poor character development for Ultron. He just all of a sudden gets accidentally created and becomes an evil supervillain. And it would have been a little bit nicer to see the motivations of Ultron. They explain it, but they do it in a rushed manner. There was a lot of areas where it was very slow in the film, so it was off balanced a bit. There was the plot pacing was at times too rushed, and the plot pacing was at times kind of slow. Towards the end of the film, I can see now that they're pretty much the next Avengers film is probably not going to even have Iron Man in it because Tony Stark retires. I guess for a second time, there was no explanation as to, he destroyed all of his suits and supposedly retired after Iron Man 3, but Iron Man 3 was such a terrible film that I can understand why Joss Whedon would have no reference to it. So he did a good job as far as that. Um, yeah, so so Tony Stark, Iron Man retires, and the Hulk, Bruce Banner, is afraid of his power, afraid of Hulk's dark side, so he becomes elusive and strays away from the Avengers, and Thor strays away from the Avengers because he's got his own drama on Asgard, or Asgard. He's got his own drama on his home world to deal with, and so, you know, I could sense that those Avengers are leaving, but they're being replaced with new ones. There was an Avenger that was killed, Quicksilver. I like the way Quicksilver was handled in the last X-Men movie, a lot better than this Quicksilver. This Quicksilver was a lot darker and grittier, and then they killed him for no reason. It just seemed a very contrived way to kill him. But yeah, I don't like. There's a cameo of Falcon. He's apparently going to be one of the main Avengers in the next Avengers movie. So the lineup for the next Avengers movie will be Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Falcon, and Scarlet Witch, and War Machine. And I'll talk about one of the things I like. I like the fact that there's War Machine, not Iron Patriot. I hated the way they handled Iron Patriot and integrating him with War Machine and Iron Man 3. And Joss Whedon just ignores that and just goes with War Machine, which is a much more popular character than Iron Patriot was. And I like the handling of Scarlet Witch. That was pretty cool. It was nice to see one of my favorite Marvel characters finally on the big screen. I love the way he handled Vision. That was like the highlight of the film. The way Joss Whedon wrote Vision and handled it, it was true to the character. It was awesome. He was going to be a new body for Ultron, but then Tony Stark integrates Jarvis with the Vision body, or the Ultron body, to make Vision. And it was in the stone from from Thor's magic world, the magic stone, I guess that's what you'd call it, but anyway, you get the idea. I'm stumbling on my words here, but basically, technology from Thor's world combined with Tony Stark's technology, combined with some innovation from Ultron, and combined with Jarvis, made a very cool on-screen persona of the Vision character, because Vision was also one of my favorite Marvel characters, so it's nice to see him on screen. But overall, I'd give this film a 6 out of 10. It's a great popcorn thriller. It's not deep intellectual film. It's not a great film, but it's not terrible and it's not bad. It's definitely worth the time to go see. It's just entertaining. That's all I have to say. This is Steampunk Star Raising out. You have a nice day, and I will see you 25 billion years. Will.